Welcome, artists and art fans. Once again, you're tuned into the only spot where we chat with other artists about their trade tools and tips. We know that they walk the walk, and of course, we talk the talk. I'm your host, chatting with Zim. I'm your host, Zim Zimma, and this is Chatting with Zim. Holy crap, I had a brain fart. If you guys are joining me now, thanks, Stalo. If you guys are joining me, we got my boy Othell. Definitely returning guest. This is episode or part 2. If you guys haven't caught part 1, make sure you guys go back and listen to that. Incredible fucking talk. Definitely talking about some real shit here with with. So, a bunch of useful information, and kind of Othell to let us pick his brain a little bit. As we get into this next talk here for this next half hour in part 2, I also want to go ahead and open up the board to other artists inside here, and let's see if they have any other questions and topics that we might be able to address here. You know what I mean? And thanks again, man, Othell. Thanks again for joining and sticking around, dude, a little bit longer, bro. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, it's fine. It's a good talk. I mean, as long as you guys don't mind me rambling, like.
No, dude. Definitely, we don't mind that at all, man. It's always great to, just speak with like-minded people, and we're joined by this awesome community. So, pretty dope. If you guys missed the last topic, we talked about getting into the zone. We talk about procrastination. Sacrifices. I think the last topic was reference. Copying for reference versus copying for the sake of copying, I guess. And right now, another topic is tracing, man. What are your thoughts on tracing?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're using it for. A lot of really good artists will trace stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say that just because someone traces something doesn't mean that they don't know how to draw, because tracing is actually, is harder than you think, especially to make it look good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I would, if I'm trying to do something quick, I'll trace something, especially if it's like something really technical, like a I don't know, like a weird like gear or something, or a logo to something, especially like logos and things like that. Say I'm drawing like I've done a couple of mock covers
Okay.
for like comics or whatever, or older comics, and then the person commissioned something to be put on the front of it. And instead of trying to hand draw like the logos and stuff and all the text and whatever, I'll just put it on the light box and I will trace it.
Yeah.
Just make it easy, because who cares if how you drew the the X-Men logo? Who cares if I drew it freehand or if I traced it? You know what I mean? That's not the part that it's important. The important part is the actual figures and stuff like that on the art. I will say one thing though. You can definitely tell if when someone does trace, because a lot of times is that, like, especially figures, the pose will be a lot stiffer. You know what I mean? Because there's something about, like, looking at a in a photo that, like, kind of takes the life out of like a drawing. That's why like photography, it's very hard for it to capture the amount of life that you can capture with like a piece of art. You know what I mean? Like with a piece of art, you can stretch that pose, or really push things in different directions here or there, and to embellish the embellishments that you can add when you're drawing something, versus like tracing a photo. You can really bring things to life when you're drawing. But like I said, I don't I don't see a problem with tracing. I would just say like I use it as if I like I said, I use it as more of a time saving mechanism. Like I could totally draw whatever it is I'm tracing. It's just, you know, is it really important for me to spend an hour trying to, screw with
Hmm.
this versus spending 5 minutes and just getting it done and moving on to the thing that's really important that I'm, want to draw. So,
No word. I like for me, when I was a kid, it's something that honestly I just looked down upon. You know what I mean? It's
hmm
like, oh, you
sure.
trace, you're not an artist, or you can't really draw. You know, um, but my mindset for that has changed. I think this year, towards a little bit towards the end of last year, where it's like, it's I had talks with I think the Latour Comics and about this subject, and he kind of opened my mind a little bit to it. And he's pretty much on the same par with what you just said. You know what I mean? Um, Also, I've heard other podcasts where it's actual artists. Shout out to Draftsman podcast.
hmm
Make sure you guys hear them. They talk about it as well, where they say that, I mean, if you're a beginner as well, this is mainly for beginners. It's like, and you want to trace, go ahead. It's perfectly fine. It's definitely a great learning tool, and something that I think is true. It does lend a lot to that muscle memory.
hmm
You know what I mean? Where you eventually, you want to draw Spider-Man, trace him. You're eventually going to learn the shapes, and you're going to be able to draw him freehand. And I think that's the goal when it comes to tracing. Um, I think another tool is your speed drawing, as you mentioned. I've seen a lot of graffiti artists, for example, that want to do murals. They'll outline it, do the basic outline, the little, you know, just the little lines, the nose lines, hairs, or whatever,
hmm
and definitely apply their paints the old good fashioned way, and at the end of the day, it's in their own style, and the results are amazing. So,
Yeah, who in the end, as long as it turns out, you know, it's a nice piece of art, like who cares, like kind of how you got to it,
yeah.
it's what you feel, what your viewer feels in the end. And like you were saying about the learning aspect of it, um, yeah, it's a tool that can help you learn, um, especially if it's like complex things. I find like the um, anything that I draw, even with tracing, because you think about it when you're tracing something, you're taking your time and you're trying to get every little part. You're in your mind, you're studying that. You know,
Hmm.
you're thinking about like, okay, this piece goes here and this connects here and this and that. Whether or not it turns out and it looks like anything, good or whatever is one
Yeah.
thing, but at least like you have like really taking your time to look at whatever that is, versus um, you ever draw something where you're looking at it and you go back and you finish, but then like you miss like a big section or
Yeah.
it doesn't look exactly like what the picture looks like, um, because you're like filtering it through your brain. It's not like you're drawing what you think and not what you actually see.
Ah, nice.
Um,
I like that.
and I think that's the 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 struggle for most artists, especially when they're first learning, is they're drawing a lot of what they think things look like and not actually what they are, what they
Hmm.
do look like. And like tracing or whatever can be a way to force you to kind of, take your time and really like draw what the thing actually looks like, and it helps you remember stuff. So maybe like one way you could practice from tracing is, like you were saying, like you trace Spider-Man or whatever. uh you do that a couple times, and then the next time you try to do it from memory and see what you learn from it you know
Mm-hmm.
Anatomy, same thing. You can do that where you'll trace like the bicep or whatever, and then you do that a couple times, and then the next couple of times you do it, you try to remember what you did and how you did it, or
Yeah.
it's just a tool. It's all it is a tool. It's like the computer, like digital versus traditional.
Oh, for,
You have a lot of people that think like digital is cheating.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah. I've
mean?
heard of that. Yeah. No, it's funny because at least for tracing, I told somebody that, and this is honest to God, real man. It's like I used to be so opposed to it that I wouldn't even trace my own work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know, but
Well, I can see. You know what? Let me say this. Like I can see if you go in and you trace like let's say Jim Lee, like a cover, and
hmm
then you put it on your Instagram or tweet it and say, look what I drew, um, and you don't give him any credit. You know what I mean? Like you say, I drew this. This is my work. That kind of thing. Or and I see, you know what I see it all the time with is like pages from like manga or like Dragon Ball, figures like that. People will go and find like panels. They'll draw them, like pretty much exactly like out of the book, and then they'll say you know, it's like almost like they if I don't know whether or not they traced it or not, but it'll be so close that it's like, what was the point? You know,
yeah.
you can't. It's tracing is bad if you're tracing other people's work to push it as your own. You
hmm
know what I mean? But if you're tracing, like I said, if you're tracing like a tire tread or a car or a mechanical piece or something like that, and you put it in your work, who cares? It's just it's a tire tread. You know, a lot of concept artists do that. Like when they're like, if you look at like concept art, they're like photo bashing. They're pulling actual photos and putting them in their paintings, and just
hmm
tweaking them a little bit, with lighting or whatever to get the point across. Because the point is not about the piece of art; it's about the ideal and the story that they're trying to tell. Um, it becomes something different uh, when you're taking somebody else's work and you're passing it off as your own. So
No.
anyway,
Thalo says that's the difference between craft and art,
yes.
and yeah, for sure. And Josh Queen says, "Who the hell thinks digital is cheating?" Well, I've had it, I've seen it. I definitely seen it. A lot of people, it's like, oh well, it's you can't really draw because you can't really do that with a real brush or with a real pen. You can't do that,
Mhm.
But I mean, digital, and I speak from experience. Whatever little I have, it's hard too, man. It's definitely a learning curve. I mean, as an artist with whatever skill level you have, I mean, obviously now you got to transition over to digital, and you got to realize that, the same marks that you put on the digital screen, it's not going to react to, just how smooth or how fast it is in, I guess, real life.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, uh huh.
Yeah. No. No. Go ahead. Sorry.
Also geez, what was I going to say? I'll get back to it, man. It had something to do with art and uh, just digital drawing in general, man. But I don't know. I forgot, man. I had a brain fart.
Yeah, that's right. You can't undo in real life, and that's total. I mean, you can undo things with like by erasing, but it's a lot hard. It's a lot harder to undo in real life. So you try to um, like if you're drawing traditionally versus digital, you're probably thinking about your lines and you're making different decisions.
hmm
Um, I know that's probably the biggest reason why a lot of people think that digital art is, um, you know, can be like you're cheating. Uh, but the way I see it is, it's just another tool. You know, like a lot of times when I draw something traditionally, I will end up um, putting it into the computer to finish it. And you do learn from mistakes. I mean, I would definitely, um, uh, it's totally true. You grow by making your mistakes.
Yeah.
You totally do. And I would always encourage people to, do both, like know both.
Hmm.
Um, I started like most people traditionally, and I still do traditional stuff. Um, I don't know. There's things to learn from both ways, if that makes sense.
No, I definitely hear that. Just the last 15 minutes, man, is Othel. Once again, man, thanks again for you guys tuning in. Go check out at Othell1. That's spelled with double L, Othell, and then number one. Check them out. That's our guest right now. Othel, man, is there anything else you want to talk about, man? Anything? Uh, any other crazy questions that you get asked all the time? You know?
Uh, no, not really. I mean, if there's anybody in the chat that wants to ask any questions, if I can help or explain something,
No, for
I'll
sure.
put it out there.
And I mean, just to catch everybody else up, this is part two. Definitely go back and listen to part one. Uh, Othel is a returning guest. He was on episode 21, and this is episode 33. And it's a little bit off of the normal thing that I usually do. Uh, Regular questions that I usually ask guests, and I think this episode is very informative, man. I think it's if not one of the most informative ones, and definitely going to be one of the ones I highly recommend for any artist to watch, just because it covers so many questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, some stuff that we talked about in the last one. You gave us some tips on just what to do and ideas on art. And the top two tips that you gave us was draw every day and definitely draw from life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's cool topics. And this is just stuff I'm trying to catch people up on. Also, your superpower was speed, so that's awesome, man. Second thoughts on any of that or any other
No, I mean
tips or
that's
tools?
those are like um, rules that you should always live by when it comes to learning to draw. You got to draw every day. That's
Sweet.
number one. If you draw like 5 minutes a day and expect to get better, it's never gonna happen. You gotta. Well, I guess it's better than nothing, but if you really want to improve, you got to put the time in.
For
Um,
sure.
and then I guess the thing that I would also say, um, that would go with that, would be to be honest with yourself. You know, um, and you'll have a lot of guys that look at what they're drawing and they think that it's really good. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you have to be honest with yourself and say, what can I improve about this, or how can I improve it, or be willing to show it to somebody else and
Take that
not
criticism, I guess.
not yes, exactly, not be hurt
Yeah,
by the criticism, because a lot of times that other person, I mean, you want to take feedback from people that you respect and that truly are have your best interest
for
at heart,
sure.
because you'll have people that'll just you know give you like negative criticism just to hurt you or whatever. But if it's a criticism that's coming from the right place,
If
and
it's
somebody that,
criticism for growth, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
correct. Correct. You have to be honest and open, and willing to, you know, accept things and willing to learn. different things, and also being willing to learn different methods and ways to um, do the same thing, or different styles. Like for instance, like, being, not looking down on somebody who draws like super cartoony or whatever, because
Mm.
there's a lot of skill involved in drawing, cartooning the right way. You know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely feel
Um,
you, and it's funny you say that because that's I think for me that's one of my obstacles is I can't draw simplicity. You know what I mean? I could, but knowing me, I always go back to it and do more and more and more detail.
hmm
And that's just because of the style that I was raised in, which was like the early '90s stuff with that whole Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, the whole image thing going on. Artists from there.
hmm
So I'm very used to that whole '90s grit style art. That's what I try to reference from my
hmm
memory and try to recreate when I do my art.
Yeah,
Um,
like heavily rendered, like a lot of rendering and
mhm.
hatching and things like that. Yeah, and that's totally fine. And but then you have people that will look down on that. Everybody
Yeah.
has their different tastes in art, but I think that there's stuff that you can learn from all of it, and you have to. And I think that if you want to grow as an artist, you have to be willing to, explore things like that. Maybe you don't like it, but maybe there's something that if you took a little closer look at it, and did a couple of studies or whatever, maybe there's something that you can learn about it. The thing that I always take away from that time period is just the the kind of energy that those lines have. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
like the there's a lot, like with all the hatching and stuff. Like those guys, they know how to uh, you know turn form with just cross hatching. It's a lot harder than it looks, basically. You know what I mean? Like, again, like I said, you can
Thought
learn
that was a nice
you
pun.
can learn something. Yeah, no problem.
No, for sure. And just the last that's the baby mama calling, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But last 9 minutes, I think that Thalo he came up with a good one. It says talks about promoting yourself or sales, and pretty much like the business of art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so again, it's like I was talking about in the first half, was just putting yourself out there, going to shows. Um, you know, I think that was the biggest thing for me. Like once I started going to shows and treating stuff more like a business and not as much as a hobby, um, that's when I was able to really start, getting some traction with actually, making money and stuff like that. Um, Now I would do what I do with, and make nothing. I mean, because I do it because I love to do it. Um, but the key thing is you gotta put yourself out there, and you gotta try. It's always hard to make that first step, and put yourself out there. It can be scary. Uh, but like doing live streams, putting out you're open for commissions, and even like what you're doing right now, you know, talking to other artists, seeing how they do it, asking them questions. Those are all ways that you can uh, promote yourself. I find like if you support others, they'll in turn they'll support you. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
man. And I mean, just on that sentence alone, I honestly I feel blessed, just to have the support that I do have from the community with whatever this is that I'm doing. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And I thank you, each and every one of you guys, for coming out and spending time and chatting it up with this guy here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, just being invited to get out there and again, like, and just actually showing my face, because it's very rare that I put like I don't take pictures of myself like on Instagram or anything
hmm
like that. So a lot of people don't even know what I look like, but I think um, putting a face to the art or a face to that person you follow, it makes them more human, and just another way to to promote yourself.
definitely, and that's the. I mean, there's various reasons why I did that, and that's one of my top ones. I when I first started going on Instagram, I researched the hell out of it. How to make it big on Instagram, and
Hmm.
as an artist. So one of the things was, especially for artists who are going to go into the whole artist alley and go to cons, conventions and stuff, and do work there. And you touched on it in part one was, don't be afraid to step outside, your comfort zone and talking,
Hmm.
networking with people. I've seen people, um, who take a lot of sales in, sometimes not because of the quality of the art, but just because the dude is so fucking cool. You know what I mean? Just,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's yeah, that is very true. Like, um, I mean, there's not that followers or whatever equate to anything, but like, there's people that I would consider the way they draw, you know, they're at a different level than me, and they have like, you know,
Yeah.
1,000 times more followers. But they're just better at the communication side. But that's okay, and they're
Yeah.
good at promoting themselves. Um, uh, so it's all how you treat others, and the effort that you put into it. And I think you get that back.
For
For the
sure.
longest time, I didn't, I wouldn't really comment that much on other people's stuff. I try to be more conscious about that, like, again, like supporting others that, have support, that support, yourself or whatever, and just giving that encouragement. Because, like, man, there's nothing like getting like a comment from like somebody that you really respect or whatever, or just getting like like a good job. It just kind of makes you
Yeah.
uh, it
Worth the
just
while.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hear that. I
exactly. It
hear what
keeps
you're saying.
keeps you going. I mean, it's not the only reason why you want to do stuff, but yeah, again, it's just like that interaction, supporting the people that support you.
And that being said, definitely go support Othell1. Definitely go follow him on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube.
And
Definitely on all the links are gonna be put up there on when I put this stuff up on my YouTube channel. Or yeah, and just last few minutes, man. Before I let you go, tell us more about this tpublic.com. Is that still in service, man? Is that something you still use?
yeah, no, that's just t-shirts and little designs that I'll put up there. I don't even know what I have up there now. Um, I got like a bunch of, I have some Godzilla t-shirts, things like that. You can get prints and everything. It's a really cool service because they take care of all the printing and shipping.
hmm
All I do on my end is I'll upload a design, and then they take it from there. You know,
Sweet.
the only thing is, like, when you get into places like that, like TeePublic, Redbubble, things like that, since they are doing such a large portion of the work, which is the printing and shipping and all that kind of stuff, your commission that you make off of it, yeah, your commission is a lot lower. but it's something that every month I'll get a little check or whatever,
Yeah,
and it's not
word.
it's it's something, and the more I think with things like that, the more designs and stuff you have, the more lucrative it becomes. It's quantity, the more
Oh,
quantity
okay.
of things that you have, the more possible sales, and then it all just kind of adds up. Um, but yeah, I've been doing that for a while, and like I said, you get uh, a couple bucks every month from it. So it's another
Sick.
way to dip your toe into the to that like t-shirt and stuff
Yeah, yeah,
business.
definitely branch yourself out and stuff, you know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's definitely cool, man. Othell, I mean, dude, I could spend another hour and a half talking to you, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, this has been good. I don't mind rambling a lot. When you're drawing, you're just in your own head, and you're not
Yeah,
talking to anybody.
no. I mean, this is not for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely questions that I have as an artist, and I think these are questions and topics that any artist could learn from and take information, you know, and do whatever they want with it. But I think it's very informative, bro, and definitely one of my most informative shows that I had. Not to say that everyone else sucks, because y'all suck. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I love every one of you, but seriously, it's like I think it's a show that definitely you're gonna want to watch it at least twice, you know, just to capture everything. So thank you, man. Thanks again for being
Yeah,
on
no
there and giving
problem.
me your time, bro.
No problem.
What else says we suck?
No, no,
No,
no.
no, no,
That's not
nothing.
that's not what I'm saying. Like it's you know, everybody is at everyone is at different levels. Um, and you got to work from where you're at and just be willing to know that, you know, there's always more work to do. Like I draw every day and I practice every day because I am not where I want to be. I want to get better.
For
I
sure.
know I have a lot of stuff that I can improve on. There's a lot of things I can't draw very well. Um, and or at least not to what I'm not satisfied with it. And if you take anything away from any of the stuff, the stuff I've said is that you just can't be um, you can't be full. You always got to be hungry.
Oh,
You know.
damn. That belongs on a shirt.
It's
Can't be
probably on the
full.
shirt already. Maybe I stole that from somebody. I don't know.
No, man. Well, thanks again, man. I mean, incredible show, incredible talk, dude. Othell, once again, man, gracious enough to bless us with your time, bro. I think we all appreciate it. And a big thank you, dude, from the community and myself, man. Thank you for your time,
Yep.
bro.
You are
You know?
cool. You are cool, Bruce.
Yeah,
And
definitely
your
cool,
your
cool as
your
fuck.
art does not suck. It's really cool. I like it.
So do I,
So
man, as do I.
I would not follow you if I didn't think that there was something there. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
like I said, like I always I look at everything and everyone, and there's always things to learn. So
No,
just be
definitely.
open.
And you know, just last piece of thing, you know, it's something I want to share as well. Something I want to do with the show is I want to go ahead and do a little level up segment. I don't know if it's going to be once a month where I'll take, you know, just people who I've seen come up in the ranks there, you know, and
Hmm.
give them shout outs, you know. Bruce 13 is one of the guys who's leveled up. Another one is my friend, the Young Wolf. You know, this show
Hmm.
actually motivated him to start drawing, and he's definitely
Good.
come a long way in a little time, man. So it
Good.
only keeps getting better every day. So definitely keep up the great work, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Othell,
definitely.
thank you very much, bro. Once
Thank you,
again,
Zim.
yeah, not a problem, bro. Anytime. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for sticking around for part two. Awesome talk with Othell1. Make sure you guys are following him. Not just here, but follow him on Twitter at OthellCF. Is that it?
Yeah, that's
Cool.
right. Sorry,
Cool. Cool.
I was just
No,
thinking of something. Oh, and check my video out, my Mega Man kind of process or tutorial on YouTube.
for sure.
If you're interested in my kind of like me taking a drawing from start to finish, where I actually color it and kind of hearing what my thought process is on it, I would check the video out. And maybe I want to make more, but um, you know, I would like feedback if anybody wants to give any feedback on it,
Sweet. Definitely. Well, let's definitely push that, man. Everybody go check out Othell on YouTube at Othell with a capital O. I don't think that really matters, but is it just Othell?
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is now. I just changed
Yeah,
it to my name. My name is unique enough where a lot of the things that or names I can just use my first name. And I
oh, for
basically
sure.
broke it down to like even how I sign my work. I just sign it Othell now. I don't
Yeah,
have to sign it like Othell Flowers because as far as I know, I'm probably the only one
sweet, man. Awesome.
with that, or I
Yeah,
mean, there's other Othells, but there's not many other Othells that are artists,
yeah, for sure.
basically.
And
So,
Thalo Halo and Josh Queen, you guys definitely have leveled up as well. Uh, these are just names that off the top of my head, but it's something I want to work on and definitely give kudos to you guys. Keeping in the grind. And like I said, Othel, man, again, let me run it one more time just for you guys. Instagram at Othell1. Same thing for, well, not the same thing, but YouTube at Othell, double L. On Twitter at OthellCF. And on Facebook at Art of Othell. And you could also check them out at tpublic.com /user/Othell for more merch on awesome shit here, man. And
yep. And
awesome chat,
commissions are
bro.
always open. Commissions are always open. So if
Definitely.
anybody ever needs anything, just contact me through one of those methods, and we can chat. So,
Definitely.
but yeah, all right, man.
Cool.
Nice
And
talking to you.
likewise, man. And we'll talk soon, man. Hopefully plan the next one. Because
Okay.
there's a
Sounds good.
lot to talk about, man. Always.
Yep. Always.
Cool.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks again. So thanks again, all fail guys, and that's been the show. That's been episode number 33, part 2. On to the next one. Next week, we have the 22nd. So next week, we are talking to Nuke 2012. And, of course, returning guest, Phalo Halo will be on as well. So definitely looking forward to that again. This has been Chatting with Zim, episode 33. I'm your host, Zim Zimma, and thank you guys for joining. Have a great and productive week. Till next Sunday, guys. I'm out. Peace.